Federal Court of Canada recently upheld a ruling that classified Nigeria's political parties, APC and PDP, as terrorist organizations, while denying asylum to a former member, Douglas Egareva, over his decades-long affiliation with both parties. Now, in a judgment delivered on the 17th of June, 2025, Justice Fuong Ungo dismissed this man's application for judicial review after the Immigration Appeal Division, IAD, found him inadmissible under Canada's Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, IRPA. Now, according to the People's Gazette, the Ministry of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness had argued that the APC and PDP were implicated in political violence, subversion of democracy, and electoral bloodshed in Nigeria. All for more on this, Arise News analyst Sobowale joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this afternoon. I find this really interesting. And just to clarify that the legal basis for this is the Immigration and Refugee Protections Act, Canada's main statute governing immigration, refugee protection, and border enforcement. And they're saying that based off of activities within Nigeria, the APC and PDP should be considered terrorist organizations. What is your take on this?
A lot of nonsense. It's crass nonsense. Just because you don't want one single Nigerian to enter your country, you don't delegitimize the whole political system. I don't buy it. At first, when I first saw it from afar, I thought it was misinformation. But you see, it's well documented. It's on immigration. But you can't, because when the Gareba wants to enter Canada by all means, then you denigrate the whole of Nigeria. It's not on. The Canadian court has no locus, you get me, to say that sort of thing. Yesterday we were discussing a topic, a conference going on now, which government said that we need to make steel. That lack of having steel is a sovereignty threat. I said that was a misnomer. It should have a security threat. Now this is a sovereignty threat.
Yes.
It is a sovereignty threat. And since it is so well documented, it's not something to be dismissed lightly. The Nigeria embassy, the Nigerian Foreign Affairs must get in touch with the embassy to make some explanation. And so, if possible, the Attorney General can even intervene to tell them that we don't make sweeping statements on a country's political system just because of a particular case. You see, it is a fallacy of generalization. You see, I'm not saying that what they have said there is not true, but that is not for me to discuss.
Yes.
First and foremost, I'm reacting as a Nigerian, and I feel bad about it.
You know,
it is in bad taste.
It is. You said Canada doesn't have the locus to do this, but
yes,
their immigration system allows for them to do what they've done, designation of an entity as a terrorist under regulations, under the IRPA.
Entering Canada.
Exactly, and that is exactly what this man was trying to do.
Somebody entering Nigeria too, you can say that, but in writing a judgment of that caliber, you don't go and say that it is the political system that is at fault.
Do you think
it is
perhaps,
a fallacy?
Do you think maybe this has a lot to do with how we've handled insecurity in Nigeria, considering that it remains a constant threat, you know, to living for a lot of Nigerians? Insecurity continues to persist.
Look, there's no way.
And the handling so far of it. Do you think maybe this is why other countries may now look at us as though we are...
You are generalizing too. This Canada.
No, of course, this is just one country.
If you don't need this in the board now, the generalization can come in.
But why do you think this is happening? That's the question. Why do you think this is happening? Do you think there's a role we have played in making this happen?
That's what we should examine. There could be so many reasons. You know, a while ago, February, they denied visa to our Chief of Defense Staff, the whole Chief of Defense Staff. And then I think maybe they settled it amongst themselves. If they could do that, and then the rationale for that was that the prince, royal prince from England, came here before going to an event which we were invited to, and they felt slighted. That is that. But believe me, on a serious note, you can't reach the sort of conclusion that court has reached on the basis of one case in front of you. It is an affront to our sovereignty. We should take them up. We should take them up. Or else, see, I don't even want to hazard a guess why they are doing it. Because maybe, you know, when we have elections, you bring in this election, observers from EU and all that. maybe they gather some information. But that information is to be used within us to make us improve our system. You get me? Not to cast our government and parties as terrorists. It's an insult to the sovereignty of Nigeria. I resent it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I want us to look within ourselves now, looking at what they have said. Would you describe this as a reflection for genuine concern with regards to the Nigerian political system, especially as it pertains to voter apathy, violence during elections, ballot snatching, irregularities within results? Do you think this further highlights a genuine concern?
Look, it highlights it. It's over-expansive, but you can discuss it amongst ourselves.
But they should not discuss it outside.
It's none of their business. And that's why I'm telling you,
Yeah.
If you're having elections, you should not invite strangers who have different values from our own to come and watch our election. See, we have our own political culture. There are some things they would have seen and misconceived, which are part and inherent in our own culture and political system. I say, I resent this. Governments will take it up. It is an overgeneralization, it's a fallacy, and it is an insult to our sovereignty and even to our own judicial system. We don't do that. They have problems with India now. India, calling the Indians terrorists because a Sikh Indian was killed on their soil. They let them sort that out. This is an over-exaggeration.
All right.
Of the worst order. The governments will take them up.
They should. You spoke extensively about the Nigerian political culture. How would you describe it if you were to describe it?
I'm to describe it. You are not a stranger now.
No, of course. I would just like to know your thought because you said we should not bring in external people. They might not understand our culture. What is that culture?
All what they said there, intimidation, they happen. We know they happen.
And that's
but there's no
culture.
perfect political system. There's no perfect political system. And occasionally you have electoral violence. It happens. Even in the US right now, Trump did not believe Biden won the election. Biden too has lost anyway. So different political systems have their own problems. You see, we have serious problems with the integrity of our political process and system. But it's not for one sole lawyer in Canada to dismiss our government because of that.
How serious do you think, in terms of the severity of this issue, how serious do you think our leaders need to take this decision?
Yes.
Especially as it pertains to bilateral relations as well.
To avert a spread of this sort of decision, because you never know. There could be some document somewhere which is invoking. You know what he has done is like what the European nations do to Russia when they sanction their families of their leaders. But this guy is not his mistake. We have been given it was a member of the political party, thinking that will enhance his status. And then they dragged him in the mud, saying the parties have been involved in brigandage and terrorism.
Yes, let's look at another side to it, which is, of course, the immigration.
Yes.
What I would call a lot of Nigerians, trying to seek asylum, visa applications. A lot of Nigerians actually trying to set up base in other parts of the country. Now, as we see a rise in a lot of these, we will often see conversations like this, where Canada designates our political parties as terrorists, where the US slams a 3-month single entry visa restriction on other countries, including Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this and how we can position ourselves better to have a better negotiating power, especially when it comes to these type of decisions being made?
Look, what I will say is that people have the right to want to leave Nigeria or go anywhere. But in the process of doing that, they should not tell lies against the conditions in Nigeria. You see, this is even a very good case. There are some people who travel abroad and who said they are being persecuted as homosexuals, they're on gender basis. Whereas, there is no such panic in Nigeria. But in this particular instance, this man is trying to show them that he's a responsible man. He belongs to a political party. And then they just disgraced him and called him a terrorist, and this country a terrorist. No, it's an overgeneralization. It is a misrepresentation, and I presume maybe that judge has not been using AI to generate information, because AI can generate misinformation like this. I can't see how anybody. We have elections that are flawed. We know all these things that are there.
The substance of what they're saying, Mr. Daya Sobowale, the substance of the issue, I understand when you say that this is an overreach, but the substance of what they're saying is...
I'm indignant. Let's put it that way.
Well, the substance of what they're saying is there is a lot of inconsistency, and the insecurity persists, especially within our political space, and that is not a lie.
That is none of their business.
Got it.
It's interference in our internal affairs. You see, the president of Canada.
Okay.
Even just of recent, when they had Kani, a new prime minister, Tinubu congratulated him. But now to bring down the whole, he's describing our system as illegitimate.
Okay, Mr. Daya, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your analysis on this.